How we doing? Fox back again for sound design tutorials. Another request today, something totally different to my usual comfort zone. This one was a request by Peter Stacks, and it's for a track by Partynextdoor. It's called Recognise, featuring Drake. It's had about 60 million views, this one has. It's not a sort of music I listen to, so yeah, it was fun trying to do a bass like this. Really deep sub with a bit of movement. Good fun. I originally made it with Serum and then realised it asked me to use silent for massive, so I've done it again in massive. If this is a success with massive and people want me to do the Serum one, then I will. But yeah, for now, this is the sound. I didn't bother try recreating the drums or anything because I think it's trap, and it's, I say, way out of my comfort zone. So it's literally just the MIDI of the bass and the bass sound. You're going to need monitors or headphones to hear this because it is very deep. So here it is. There you go, very deep. As I say, Massive does these sort of sounds brilliantly. The low pass filters are really good in this. Classic analog waveforms as always when you're making this sort of sound. Just say quickly, this patch is available to download in the description for free. There will be a link in the description to that track by Partynextdoor, so you can listen to it and compare the sound yourself. Please subscribe if you enjoy this or any of my other tutorials. If you've got any requests yourself, send them through to me, through to my Facebook page. There's a link in the description of any of my videos. So yeah, let's get to it. So we're going to go ahead and initialize this. Very raspy to start with. We are going to use the standard saw wave for oscillator 1. We're going to use all 3 oscillators. We're going to send them all into one filter. For that reason, the first thing we're going to do is send all of the 3 oscillators to filter 1. Push it to series mode, even though it doesn't matter, but something I like to do, just keep things in check. Make sure the mix is coming out of filter 1 and the volume for filter 1 is on full. Oscillator 1 is a sawtooth, as I said. All I did was pitch it down 1 octave, -12, and then I've just pushed it up a couple of cents to that -11.97. Oscillator 2, we'll do that last. We'll set up this one, oscillator 3. This is a sine square, pull it to a sine wave. This one is 2 octaves down, so -24. This is taking part of the real deep sub part of the sound. Intensity on full, as I say, wave all the way to the left. All 3 amps on full volume. You can hear that slight phasing we've got because we've pushed this slightly off of an exact octave. Although it was a deep sub, you could definitely hear that there was some movement going on in the background. So that's what I did. So yeah, the reason why I chose this one last is this one is a virtual analog pulse saw PWM. Same reason as I've just offset that a little bit. I wanted to get a little bit of movement. Also, the one that I made with in Serum, which I did first, had a pulse in it, so I tried to recreate that inside this. So -12 again. I push this the other way to +0.3, and pulse width. If we solo this oscillator, pulse width, I'd sort of aiming at the H of pulse width. We're going to modulate this pulse width with an LFO just to give us a bit of extra movement apart from the detuning that we've already got. LFO 5, we're going to sync it, set the rate to 1/1. We're going to change it to a triangle wave so it's nice and steady. Pull the glide down in the oscillator section just to make sure we've got no glide we do not want. Oscillator 5, yeah, positive sync and restart you want on. Make sure the volume for the LFO is on full. You see that's giving us a nice bit of movement. Now if we bring back in the other oscillator, which is detuned slightly, you can hear them phasing and moving apart from each other. It doesn't matter, it's all going to be toned and put where we want with a filter later on. Introduce the sub again. We'll introduce the filter now actually before I do anything else. There isn't much left to do actually, just a bit of voicing. So we'll introduce this low pass filter. It was a low pass 2, which is a less steep curve than the low pass 4. Cut off I had around about, aiming just before the C, no resonance. You can still hear that movement in the background, but it's cutting out all the harshness and the raspiness. This can be played with to suit. If you would like a real deeper sub, pull it down more. If you want to let more harmonics through, just push it up. For now, we'll keep it where I had it, aiming just underneath the C. I did use a modulation oscillator. Same reason, I made the one in Serum. I'll bring the one up I made in Serum quickly, just so you can see why I made these choices inside Massive. Partynextdoor open. As you can see in this one that I made with Serum, both of the oscillators are being FM'd by a sub oscillator, which is 2 octaves down. The only FM capabilities you have inside Massive, which I've now deleted what we were making, like a mong. But anyway, we're nearly there. So if I show you this Massive one, the modulation oscillator, I turned it on, I pitched it down 2 octaves. 2 octaves down the sine wave was, and I've got it modulating the filter 1. This gave us roughly the same sort of sound as what I had when I was making it inside Serum by using the FM as a sub-os. All I did then in the voicing section, I gave it 8 voices of unison. I made it monophonic. I turned the pitch cutoff on. Very small amount. Too much, you get way too much sort of a Reese-y, drony sound. You don't even want to see the first white line, you just want to... Just that much, just to help give it a little bit of stereo field. Pan position turned on, in between mono and full. Same reason, if you push it too wide, it loses its sort of subby characteristic. I had it sort of a third of the way between mono and full. Turn the modulation oscillator on and off so you can hear the difference. It takes some of the, I don't know how it sounds to say, some of the sort of Reese-y bubbliness that you get when you have this pitch modulation with a unison spread. If you turn it on, it made it a lot more less hollow, just added a little bit of grit, which the original sound definitely had. All I did then was a bit of EQ, and you can see I didn't use any other effects. The main amp envelope, I gave it a tiny bit of an attack. Nothing too crazy, just to make sure it wasn't clicking in at the start. So yeah, the EQ, I just boosted the low shelf to 2 o'clock and the boost about 1 o'clock. And the high shelf, I just pulled it down a bit. So this is without the EQ. There you have it, easy peasy. Partynextdoor recognised featuring Drake bass with NI Massive. I'll quickly show you the one I did in Serum. So if you want a video on this, hit me up, I'll do it as well. I'll let it flow into the Massive one as well. Very, very similar, both very good basses. So yeah, that's it. Talk about a little bit of processing I've got on here. I've got an SSL comp stereo. reasonable attack, reasonable release, bit of makeup gain. Not a very high threshold, just keeping it all in check. Also got a transient master from Native Instruments, brilliant for basses like this. Turn it on, just add a little bit of sustain. I've got 19% sustain. Again, I'll turn the transient master on and off. Subtle, but when you 8-bit it like that, you can hear the difference it's having. It's just making everything sound a bit warmer. Yeah, for now that is it. As I said, make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this or any of my other tutorials. Keep the requests coming. Slowly work through them. There's no way I can do every single one. I get about 10-15 a day, but I do look at every single one, and unfortunately I pick ones which I think I can do, then I think that people are going to like. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching. Cheers.